I have gas, it is shooting out my ass. It is very fucking potent and I'm losing friends real fast. It is here, it is there, mice and flickers everywhere. The neighbors are all crying cause I think they might be dying. Flowers wilt at my feet cause the earth it claimed defeat. Since my ass went nuclear today, I caused a natural disaster cause I am not part master. I have gas, I have gas, I have gas.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, March 19th, and this is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets rolling today with Mr. What You Need to Know, Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
Tassie, we got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Last but not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Happy World Sleep Day to everyone out there, especially you, Lily. I know you love your sleep, big guy.
I love my sleep, and I love my Sleepy Floyd from the 87 All-Star game, so it's a great day for me.
Awesome. Shout out to the stream team joining us right now on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the No Dunks YouTube channel with all your NBA friends. Keep your questions coming for the next Beach Steppin' podcast. Email them in to nodunks@theathletic.com. Immaculate items available still over at nodunks.com. And if you are live on the stream team and you're a Top Shot hot boy or girl, you'll see my mug hosting today's rare 2021 All-Star Game pack drop. Yes, come say hi, hang out with me. I'm going to be talking to myself for like 3 hours. Now, we might have some guests rolling through. A couple of former NBA players, some current NBA players. Hopefully, you never know, right? You book them and then something happens and suddenly they're not there. But come hang out with me. I got some things in store, and good luck to you, good luck to you, good luck to you as everybody tries to get a low number in the randomization there for today's pack drop. But this is our drop, the drop before the drop. And we're looking back at last night's games. We've got Worst of the Week. We got Tweet Night. We got all your staples here. We'll start with this, though. LeBron goes for 37 to lead the Lakers past the Hornets. 116-105. Okay, that's the game, and we can talk about that if you want. But, man, the headline coming off of this one, Dave McMenamin at ESPN. Kyle Kuzma says LeBron James should have at least 8 MVPs. He says, quote, the NBA MVP is a very political award. This is Kuz. Bron should have been at the MVP at least 8, 9, 10 times. Everybody knows that. Well, Lee Ellis knows that. Kuzma's actually selling Bron short here. I think you had LeBron down for 11 MVPs when you took us through that on a Beach Steppin' podcast way back in May, Lily. So I assume you agree with Kuzma to some extent here.
I absolutely do agree with him for that. In fact, LeBron would have had 12 if you count last season because,
Right.
you know, when you look at who won it, Giannis, he loses in the second round. And I took into account the playoffs when I was awarding those MVPs, and LeBron finishing the season with the championship and the finals MVP. Give him 12. But, yeah, he absolutely deserves more than 4. But even LeBron said himself when in response to that was like, you ask any of the greats, Michael Jordan has 5. He thinks he deserved 10. And he was right as well. Larry Bird got 3. Magic got 3. They all deserved a few extras. So it's not uncommon that players feel that they deserve more. But I do feel that LeBron winning 4 so close together, because he won 4 in 5 years there, probably counted against him. And I think voter fatigue comes into it a bit, you know, because you see things like when Russell Westbrook won his, he did something we hadn't seen before since Oscar Robertson by averaging 30 points and getting a triple-double. His team didn't have a great season, but it was kind of like, wow, this is incredible. You're the MVP this season. But we always talk, you know, about this stuff. Sometimes it's like who's having a better individual season versus who is still the best player in the league. And LeBron James has been the best player in the league. I think Frank Vogel said there basically since his second or third season he came in. He's been like, if you could pick one guy, no one's picking anyone before LeBron James, even if you include Kevin Durant at his best, and even if you include Stephen Curry at his best. I think LeBron has been the best player for the last 15 years or so in the NBA. But that hasn't been reflected as far as winning MVPs. He's been a runner-up 4 times, so it's kind of close. But it's just one of those things. It's like the shiny new toy. And Kuz is somewhat right as far as saying it's political. It's more a narrative thing. It's more like, hey, this guy's had a great season. He deserves the MVP, and he gets that vote. But if you look back, there's a lot of guys like Giannis has been deserving. James Harden's been deserving. Steph Curry's been deserving. but LeBron James has still been the best player pretty much in all of those seasons. So, he's right. It's just, can you imagine if LeBron did just, win it 11, 12 times? It'd be crazy. And people would just be like, oh, you can't just give it to LeBron every year. You've got to give it to somebody else. So, that's the sort of political angle there that Kuzma's talking about. But, LeBron, I had him as the favorite this season when we did our quarterly awards. I think he did slip a little bit there because the Lakers did go on that usual sort of malaise they have. A LeBron team tends to go on that just before the All-Star game. And Embiid's been fantastic and Jokic's been fantastic. James Harden's now shoved his way into that conversation.
Lillard, Giannis.
Exactly. All those. But it's almost since the All-Star break, LeBron's been like, you know what? I think I just have to remind everybody how good I am. And he was great again last night. The point's great, the win's great, but I don't know if you guys saw the block he had on Terry Rozier, real sort of throwback. He got beaten. It looked like he was gone, and LeBron came and got one block for the game, but it was incredible to show he's still got the energy and the legs at this stage of his career to do that stuff. So, yeah, I think this season it is still wide open, particularly with Joel Embiid, who probably was the bookie's favorite there before he got injured. But if LeBron decides to flex his muscles down the stretch here, he could actually come back and still win this award again. And will he? Who knows? But certainly if he chooses to approach it like he wants to, I think he's got as good a chance as anybody.
Yeah, Tass, what did you make of this? Not only the Lakers win last night, but what Kuzma's saying here about LeBron. Like, I think on what you need to know, you said, Tass, exactly what Lee sort of said. Like, this isn't the best player in the league award. Some people look at it that way. That's what Kuzma's saying. That's what a lot of people are saying, like Leah said before. But that's not what it is. And that is why you don't have 8, 9, 10 and other reasons as well. But do you like his chances? Can LeBron do this, especially with Embiid going down?
Well, yeah, it's fun to look back and say, hey, yeah, the best player of this era is LeBron James. He should have way more. But that's not what happens with voters at the end of the year. They have to look at who was the best player this season. And it isn't, the best player of the era, or else LeBron wins it every year. And you can't include playoffs, or else LeBron wins it most of the years. So
right.
Kuzma just throwing it out there like anybody throwing out, you know what, Mike Conley should be an all-star. Well, whose spot is he taking? I understand there's a few years, maybe Steve Nash's first year where you could think LeBron could have won it, or Steph Curry's first year where he won MVP that you think LeBron could have won it, or the year that Derrick Rose won it. I think Dwight Howard probably should have won it that year. But yeah, there's a few years, but you kind of have to go one by one. If you're doing it properly, Kuz, I get it. Yeah, he's one of the best players ever. But there's a reason why, Lee's talking about him turning it up. Well, there's a reason why he didn't win MVP a bunch of those times. It's because he knows he has to turn it up and he has to play those 2 extra months. And he isn't the best player for 6 months of the regular season. That's what the award is for.
Right.
That's what Derrick Rose won it for. That's why Nash, it was a bit of a narrative. That's what it's all about. But anyway, this year, I think it works out pretty well for LeBron because Anthony Davis is out. That really, really helps him as they climb the standings, getting closer to the 1 seed as the Jazz are sort of faltering here. Mm-hmm. And everybody isn't. I guess everybody's on sort of the same playing field, like the same level right now. No one's really running away with it. So if no one's running away with it, and LeBron has missed his number 2 guy for a chunk of the year, and LeBron is LeBron. I think LeBron is, kind of by default, as he was, I think, at the quarter pole as well. Like, I probably Jokic or Embiid had the better season. But if you're close with LeBron, and especially if he gets to that 1 seed, then I would probably give it to LeBron. And that's where I would be leaning right now. But yeah, Embiid is out. That's a big part of it. Durant is out. That factored in. But there's a bunch of points of the season where it changes. But LeBron is kind of steady. He's steadily there, and he says he's going to turn it on and go into 7th gear as the playoffs come around. So yeah, there's a good shot for LeBron, especially if Anthony Davis stays out for a little bit longer. It
is weird to think, Lee, that it's been 8 years since LeBron has won the award. That is one thing that always catches me by surprise, because you're like, yeah, over those last 8 years, he's been the best player. And how many of them, right? When you're considering, of course, the playoffs, which you shouldn't be doing, I guess, with the regular season MVP. But that's eye-opening. Like, he hasn't won since 2013. Like, we're almost a decade. That is wild. But this year, he's averaging 26 points per game, basically 8 boards, 8 assists. So those are just classic LeBron numbers. But I think you're right, Tass. If everybody is so close as we get to the end of the season, and the Lakers missing AD for a big chunk of time, if they are, let's call it a top 3, a top 2 seed in the West, maybe even the league, because they're right there. The Lakers have had like a bad year in a weird way, a down year, like just sort of a, quietly flying under the radar type of year at least. Then, yeah, I think LeBron would get a lot of votes if it's, again, just so close where then I see voters going, well, all right, tiebreaker is he has been the best player for the last decade. And we saw what he did in the bubble. And, yeah, you know what? Let's give him his 5th. Do you agree with that, Lee? Could that be the case here if no one like a Jokic gets the Nuggets up to the top 3 seed, or Lillard with the Blazers, or, Giannis and the Bucks somehow don't lose a game for the rest of the year with his number? Like, I could see that case where he actually does get it in a weird tiebreaker situation, for lack of a better word.
It's almost like a reverse voter fatigue in that sense.
Yeah,
it's like,
right. Right.
It's like we haven't given him one, as you said there, for 8 years. You know what? These other guys have been good, but they haven't really shown it necessarily in the playoffs yet. This is LeBron's probably last chance to win it, although I felt like I've said that for about the last 4 years as well, and he keeps coming back. But in that sense, he's also a victim of his own success, his own consistency, and his own incredible health, because he's just virtually never injured. He takes the odd game off here and there just to rest, but he puts up that line of basically 27, 7, and 7 every single season. And he has these games where he has these big moments. Then he sort of cruises along, and we take him for granted in that sense, because it's like you just know what you're getting out of him. So in terms of his consistency, he doesn't really have peaks and troughs. He just goes out there and performs. But that becomes boring and repetitive when you have guys like Giannis doing what he's done the last couple of seasons, and now what Embiid's doing this season. Because usually with Embiid, it gets a bit hot and then a bit cold, and then he gets injured like he is right now. So it's just more you bring more attention to that. But with LeBron, it's like this guy's just a machine. To keep himself in this incredible shape and to perform at this level 18 seasons into his career is incredible, but we just sort of shrug our shoulders at it a little bit. But I do think that could be a factor this season, where it's like, man, we got to respect this guy a bit more and give him one more here, give him 5 time at least with Michael, because he deserves it. He certainly does deserve more, but he's probably only going to end up at best with 5. And I think this is his best season to do that. So, but again, the drop off just isn't there. And he will keep performing. He'll keep scoring, and he signed another 2-year extension there with the Lakers, so he's going to be around for a long time. But yeah, unfortunately, when you're so good and you're so consistent, you can't sort of do anything to change the perception with people's mind. It's just like, yeah, that's what he does. Maybe he's not the best player this season, the standout player, but he's always the most consistent.
All right, our next game last night, Julius Randle, put him in the MVP conversation. Monster triple-double to lift the Knicks over the Magic. Randle had 18 points, 10 boards, okay, and 17 assists. Julius Randle for the New York Knicks here. Go-to guy down the stretch if you watch this one. I was locked in on this one. He either assisted or scored on 8 of New York's final 9 points over the final, 5.5 minutes of the game. Just run it through Randle and let him make the decision. He's their go-to guy. It's pretty wild to watch. But Reggie Bullock, with the sweet redemption steal on Evan Fournier late. Bullock had been tied up for the jump ball with Fournier like 20 seconds prior. The Knicks were up 1, it's their ball. Maybe they get fouled. Then it's maybe game. But, oh, no, the double there. Reggie in a bad spot. Gets tied up. Fournier wins the jump ball. So the Magic call a timeout, and they run a very predictable Vooch and Fournier pick and roll at the top. Okay, but Fournier jumps in the air. And he gets caught a little bit. Vooch is not open. He has not rolled high enough at least. And he's they played it well, the Knicks did. And Bullock came up with the steal. And then the Magic just don't foul. It was the weirdest thing. I was about to tweet the Orlando Magic ready for the All-Star break. Oh, whoops. All-Star break is over. They just completely gave up. There's tons of time left. And they couldn't catch anyone, but they put in a half-ass effort. I'll say that. And Knicks get the victory. And an important win for the Knicks here, because they had lost consecutive games to Brooklyn and Philadelphia, top teams in the East. So you're not going to be upset about that. But they had lost 4 of their last 6. So you need these ugly wins, these wins against these teams that are reeling below you in the standings. Keeps them at 500 tasks. They have a very tough second half of their schedule. It gets very difficult for the Knicks. So they got to pick up these ones. And again, it wasn't pretty, but it was a Tibbs-like win, and they come through with a defensive stand there at the end to get the victory. Anything to add to that one?
Well, it's like they're contractually obligated to play these super close games down to the wire to every single last minute. So it makes it entertaining to watch. It's always a grinded out game, always a grinder, whether they win or they lose. Yeah, it was sort of a battle of attrition there at the end. They basically couldn't execute on one end, and then the Magic couldn't execute on the other end, but they just executed a little bit better because they had Julius Randle out there. I thought Alec Burks was pretty important being inserted into the starting lineup. He's had 21 points for them. He's a bucket getter, and they've been missing just some point guard play. So any offense is definitely a nice little bonus for them. You saw a little Frank Ntilikina bonus offense. You don't see that too often. And then Clyde Frazier immediately after a great play from Frank Ntilikina, broadcaster Clyde Frazier saying, this guy is an enigma. Basically, like, don't expect that too many more times. That was awesome from Clyde right off the bat. Usually a home broadcaster will, pump up a guy for a bit, but not. Clyde keeps it real. And Frankie hasn't been smoking hot like he should be. But anyway, up and down the roster, it's amazing. It is amazing that Tom Thibodeau has come in here in year one, gets ridiculed for being a coach that doesn't play young guys. He's playing plenty of young guys and getting a ton from them. And they're injured right now. Mitchell Robinson is out. Hopefully he'll be back soon. And Derrick Rose isn't playing right now. Alfred Payton's not playing. So no matter who's playing, Tibbs is getting the most out of his team. And on the other side, just the Magic. Aaron Gordon coming back. Probably good for his trade value, I guess. 6 days. I mean, not a great game, but he was actually decent. And then
Fournier too.
Fournier, same thing. So 6 days.
Yeah,
somebody's got to move from that roster.
Oh my God! If those two guys are still on this team by the trade deadline, I swear to God, I'm done with the Magic. Like they've lost 9 straight now. The Orlando Magic has, and I saw the Orlando Pinstripe post, great Magic blog, pointing out like the Magic's next 10 games is Nets at Boston, Nuggets, Suns, Blazers, then a big road trip. Lakers, Clippers, Pelicans, Jazz, and Nuggets. Looking at those 10 teams, I mean, look, they might win 1 or 2, maybe even 3 in that bunch. They could lose all 10 of those. We could be headed toward a 19-game losing streak. Orlando could. It could get that bad. But, Lee, they got to do something here. Like, it's almost good this is happening in a weird way. Like, all these losses right before the trade deadline. Like, they have to, look around and go, okay, yeah, we got a bunch of injuries. Don't get me wrong. But we got to move off Aaron Gordon. We got to move off Fournier. We got and these are guys that teams would want. Like, you're not going to get a ton back, but you're going to get something back. Some draft capital, maybe a young prospect from some of these teams that could talk themselves, I think, rightfully into wanting those guys for a playoff push. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. They also talked about Vooch last night. He's clearly their most valuable asset. So do the Magic blow it up completely and say, all right, we have to cash in on Vooch because these other guys you are going to get like for like in return. I know Fournier is in demand a bit, and so is Aaron Gordon, but I mean, really, what's the best case scenario you're going to get back for those guys? I mean, some sort of high unprotected draft pick, I think. So that means you're shooting this season in the foot. So you may as well move on from Vucevic as well. Give him a chance to go to a team that's going to make the playoffs and potentially contend depending on where he goes. Because there's a lot of interest in him. He's a big man who can spread the floor and hit that three. I don't think he has a great playoff record, but that's just me. So we'll see what value he has out on the market. But yeah, the Magic have just been not going anywhere now for years, and the draft picks they've made just haven't really worked out. So it is time to take a new direction and start again. So yeah, I mean, I think they have to. If they don't make any move, and really significant move too by the deadline next week, then they're just running out the clock on the season because. Sure, they could make the play-in tournament best case scenario, but we've seen them in the playoffs the last couple of years. They've led the series both times 1-0 before having being gentlemanly swept. So it just shows it's not the right formula there for success.
I guess Terrence Ross too, another name that could possibly maybe move. There's like 4 or 5 guys on that Magic roster that I think a lot of teams could be intrigued by to add again to a playoff roster where you're plugging them in and they're like, not Vooch, but like those other guys are like, 4th, 5th, 6th best player on your team, maybe even 7th in some cases, like with a Terrence Ross, stuff like that. That's good. He can win you a playoff game. So we'll see what the Magic do. God, please do something. I'll be so upset if they do nothing. They have to do something.
You've been tweeting about it as well.
I know. I mean, I'm still convinced Aaron Gordon gets moved. I would throw Fournier in there as well, but at least one of their guys, please. All right, the other games from last night, I'll throw them all at you, Tass. You can go wherever you want. Beal's 43, Westbrook's triple-double leads the Wizards over the Jazz. Oh, Rudy Gobert was upset after that one. The Hawks, they win their 7th straight test. Undefeated still under Nate McMillan. Really convincing win, 116-93 over OKC. Lillard had 36 as the Blazers beat the Pelicans again. That one, 101-93. And then finally here, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, both top 40 points as the Wolves sort of stunned the Suns there. 123-119. Where do you want to go from those four I just chucked at you, Tess?
Well, the night started with an incredible Russell Westbrook show. That was, to me, one of the better games we've seen from Westbrook in a while. He's had a couple good games this season, but that 35-point triple-doubler, he was masterful. He looked like old Westbrook for a game. And the Wizards finally won a game where Bradley Beal scored over 40 points. They had lost 11 straight when Beal had scored 40 plus. That leads me into what I want to talk about, though, because Westbrook kind of has a stat here that is affected by the Timberwolves having two guys score 40 plus points. That doesn't happen in the NBA very often. Cat and Anthony Edwards had both over 40 points. Only 5 times that's happened since 2010, and Westbrook's a part of that a couple of times with, 5 pairs of guys have done it since 2010. Westbrook and Durant, Westbrook and PG, Kawhi and PG, Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Don't worry about that one. And Kat and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, over 40 at 42 points, third youngest guy to score 40 plus. Only LeBron and Kevin Durant younger than him. To me, watching him, I don't believe that he's 6'4" because he's so meaty. He's so beefy. And he's like, he could get 20 boards at 6'4". Like I think he's come in and really worked on his body to be able to go into the lane and shoot 13 free throws, draw that much contact, and be able to score at 19 years old. At 6'4", and that's freaking impressive. This guy is going to be around for a long time, getting buckets. And the two-man game of him and Cat in the fourth quarter, they go in down 8 into the fourth quarter. But it was just Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, this is something that people were pretty hyped about surrounding Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Like, maybe this young guy can join Cat, and these two guys can grow together. But Anthony Edwards does it differently than Wiggins. He gets to the hole when he wants to. He definitely shoots a lot of threes, but he can do both. And this Rookie of the Year race is getting more interesting. It's still LaMelo Ball's to lose, but Anthony Edwards, he's balling. And I made the comparison to Jimmy Butler last week, as the Wolves broadcaster Jim Peterson made it. And he looks a lot more like Jimmy Butler when he's going into the lane and drawing contact. Jimmy definitely wasn't doing this in year one. No chance. But Anthony Edwards is. I mean, he's playing like a vet a lot of the time. And we're just halfway into his first season. So the Wolves have got to be super pumped. Like, if he can grow and grow and grow and grow, and Karl Anthony Towns can, play alongside him, then that's a 1-2 punch. They were just running the show. And so those guys working together. It's just a nice story. Finally, a little Timberwolf love, because not a lot of that happening, because the Rockets have lost 18 straight and the Timberwolves still have a worse record.
Yeah,
so that's nice.
It is nice. Something has clicked for Anthony Edwards Lee after the All-Star break. I'll tell you that, because pre-All-Star, looking like a rookie, shooting 37% from the floor, 30% from three. In the five games since the All-Star break, he's shooting 48% from the floor, 39% from three, and a super high usage percentage. So the efficiency has gone up, despite getting the ball a lot more and having a lot more options with it. This is great. I mean, I don't think he's going to continue on this tear that he's on right now with the 40s every night. But man, Tass is right there. It's like, at least there's a glimmer of hope that in Minnesota with this number one pick possibly being pretty special. And he's such a cool personality too. Yeah. I mean, I saw people tweeting last night. He's sort of must-watch post-game Zoom conference material. He's a funny kid, and and he's got just like Jimmy Butler, I think, is where this comparison continues. Tass, just a confidence in himself. I'm okay with who I am. I do not care what you think about me, which is obviously refreshing. So I don't know if you have anything to add to the Wolves. Not like they're not going to the playoffs, Lily, but a small baby step here, maybe working towards next year.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of probably their most impressive win of the season, just off the top of my head, because it's in Phoenix. They are down. Chris Paul is a closer, maybe the best closer in the league when it comes tight in fourth quarters. And the Timberwolves came and pulled this victory out. And Anthony Edwards, the thing about him, which I think is great, is he's got such a great handle that he can put that ball on the floor. So he's got the three-point shot, that's improving. But if you come out too quick on him, he can put it down and get past you. Then he's in the lane. And once he's in the lane, it's like, get out of his way because he's going up there to dunk. So that's what's really impressive here for him. And the Wolves just need some sort of hope and belief that this guy can develop into a legit star. And I think you're starting to see it ever since Finchie came along and took him under his wing there. So, that's the thing for the Wolves, because they've had these draft picks over the years, and they just haven't really worked out. D'Angelo Russell's still not there. And he, I don't know what the future is there with him. But if you are the Wolves, you just want to believe that Anthony Edwards can stay there long term and turn this franchise into some sort of success, because they've been down for just so long. They got Jimmy Butler, they make the playoffs, and that's it. Then he's gone, Tibbs is gone, and it's sort of back to the start, back to square one. So hopefully this is the start of something new. But he's fun to watch, Anthony Edwards, and he shoots that three with confidence. He didn't shoot all that well last night, but he shoots it pretty confidently most of the time. So I like to see it. All
right, March Madness, guys, tipped off last night. Your brackets can't be busted yet because these were the first four games. Was very confusing to our boy Matty O. He was in the WhatsApp chat last night saying, "What's up with these games? Why are there like 11th seeds like trying to make the tournament?" Like, it's a great point. He's like, shouldn't it all be like, really 16th seeds trying to get in, play, the number one seed eventually? They do a little bit of that anyway. Who cares?
It's not right. It's not right.
It's not right.
Those teams won their conferences, and now they come in and have to play to get in. What's up with that?
It's very strange. But anyway, we saw, I didn't watch a lot of it, but I know there was a huge dunk from a guy on Drake, I think. They had a historic win. And we had
I thought Drake was playing for Kentucky there for a second. That's what I thought when I saw Drake was doing well. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a team called Drake. Had a near epic comeback too. Fell 1 point short, but whatever. That's college. We don't really watch it. We don't really care here. I'll start to maybe as we get in a little bit. Throw it on the old tube. Maybe even this weekend when there's a ton of games going on, I'll sort of keep my eye on it. But NBA March Madness. We'll spin to this one, guys. I thought this would be fun. Lee, I ask you this. Everybody in the stream team, everybody listening to the podcast, let us know your answers. Right now, Lee, Selection Sunday, doing it all over again. Who would be your 4 NBA teams to earn number 1 seeds? All right, Lee, put them in pen. Who are you putting as the 4 number 1 seeds?
Well, I'll start in the Eastern Conference, and I'm definitely putting the Brooklyn Nets in as one of them. And then it really comes down to Philadelphia or Milwaukee for that second spot. And, Philadelphia has earned it up to this point of the season, but Joel Embiid is out and the Bucks are playing maybe their best basketball of the season. So for that reason, I give Milwaukee the other number 1 seed, just because they're playing and they're healthy right now.
Who would you take in a series though if everybody's healthy?
Home court. That's tough. Yeah, it is tough. I mean, Philadelphia, this is they've been great. Embiid's been great under Doc Rivers, and I think Seth Curry is a big important part of their offense as well. Obviously, Simmons is great, but I don't know. It's so hard. I'll say Philadelphia if they have home court. Okay, so I'll give them the advantage just because they have home court. But that would be an awesome series if everyone is healthy. I would love to see that. So
so you got Brooklyn and Milwaukee as your 1 seeds.
Yeah,
that's good for Philly fans. Doesn't a number 2 seed or does the number 2 seed always lose to a 15 seed? Oh yeah, Okay, so you got that in the East. Now give me the West. Who are your your 2 number 1 seeds?
Yeah, well, I actually think this one's a little easier. The Jazz, I think, clearly deserve to be number 1, and I am going with the Lakers. I think the Suns will be there. The Nuggets have thrown their hat in the ring as well. But I'm definitely going with the Lakers because it's LeBron, and I don't know how they exactly decide who's the number 1 seed, but you want to give sort of favorite to the guy or the team you think is just the strongest, and I think the Lakers have proven that over the years in the playoffs, so especially with LeBron on that team. So Jazz, Lakers, a little bit boring. I wanted to try to make it a little bit exciting, but those are the 2 best teams in the West.
Well, the Jazz is an interesting pick right now, Tass, with them struggling a little bit and Gobert getting on them after last night's game, losing to the Wizards. Like, what are we doing here? we cry and complain after everybody goes on national television and calls us out or doesn't pick us for all-star teams. But, then we come out and lay a couple duds like this. This isn't us. We're getting maybe falling too much in love with the offensive firepower of the Utah Jazz. Where's our defense? Where's that identity? That's sort of what Gobert was getting at. But would you have them as still a number one seed?
Oh, for sure. I'm just trying to get some headlines here because people would be expecting a potential upset there. So, yeah, people would be expected. I mean, with the way they're playing, but no recency bias here. The Jazz should be there because they're the number one seed. I think the Sixers as well. They're still there. So I would put them in. The Lakers, of course, have to be there. Of course. And, the Brooklyn Nets are too sexy to leave out right now. So I would take those 4 teams. Okay,
this is the more interesting question. Who are your Cinderella playoff contenders? Because that's all you hear about, right, when we get into March Madness. So, Tass, we'll start with you. Let's break this up. We'll go with the Eastern Conference, then the Western Conference. We'll get an answer from both of you guys. Tass, you go first, though. Your Cinderella pick to, maybe pull off some upsets when we get into the actual NBA playoffs. Play in tournament or even in a series. I know this is difficult because they change every night, but try and keep it to, like, the lower end of the Eastern Conference team you maybe believe in a little bit more than the record.
Cindy's. Who's my Cindy? I would take the Toronto Raptors. For sure. You got to take a team as a Cinderella team that doesn't have a star on their team. They don't have one huge star, a team that does it by committee. That's what you want, right? In March Madness, you want your George Masons or your Frank Masons or your other Mason, Roger Masons. I'd throw them in there. That's the kind of team. Like who are these guys? Like who else? Nobody else really fits that bill to me. Every team in the East kind of has a star. I guess the Heat kind of play into that, even though they have Jimmy Butler. Like the workman-like team. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to fit a type. I'm trying to typecast a team that could upset. So I like the Raptors. Okay. They spell Cinderella differently in Canada, where they spell it with an S. So they're a little unique up there in Canada.
They can't joke about that, Tass. No, they don't do that, people. We spell neighbor differently and stuff like that. Okay, Lee, he goes Raps. He plays the homer card. No, I get it. They've, because of many reasons, have struggled here. One of them being not playing in their own damn country, if we're being honest. But maybe they could get it together and put together a run and be a tough out. Okay. Who would you go, though, in the East as a Cinderella? I think there's a ton of picks, actually.
Yeah. I'm going with the Hornets for sure. I think,
there it is.
Yeah, I think because, they have some very good players, but it's also the way that they play and, how they've got those cool uniforms and they're the sort of team that has a few different guys who can get hot on one particular night. So I can see them being the team. Everyone's like sort of cheering on that team just to see how far they can go. And They cause that first round upset against someone like the Bucks, almost a little bit like the We Believe Warriors in that sense, like that they just come out there, they play a bit of a helter-skelter sort of style game, but it's sometimes a little bit difficult to match up against when the team is a little bit erratic like that. So I would love to see it. The Hornets have been a great story this season, and you just want to see them continue that run into the playoffs. So that would be my pick.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I will be cheering, especially if my Raptors aren't even in the damn thing. I'll be cheering for the Knicks fans out there to somehow win a playoff series. That would be fun. I'm cheering for Dan Devine and Network and Mero and Lee Ellis. Seth Rosenthal, all these guys, all these longtime suffering Knicks fans. But my pick, bit of a wild card here. I'm going to go a team that's not even in the play-in tournament, though I guess the Raptors aren't right now either. The Washington Wizards, a true Cinderella. Here we go. We got all excited last year when we did the whole bubble thing in this play-in tournament. The Wizards. Can they catch, what was it, the Magic, right? To force the play-in game. That was quickly answered with a no because they didn't even bring half their guys or they weren't even playing. But what about now? They're way down there in the standings. They're 15-25 after last night's victory. So they're tied with the Cavs for 12th in the conference. And then you got the Magic at 14th and the Pistons at 15th. I think you can say goodbye to the Cavs, Magic, and Pistons chances of actually getting here, but I wouldn't count out the Wizards here. You said it, Tass. Westbrook is starting to find his groove a little bit. Some of these guys are contributing. Beal, it was nice to see him, his team get a victory when he finally went for 40. The Wizards in a play-in tournament to win 2 games to get in, and then with just the firepower that you would have, from those guys, especially those two guys, like I wouldn't want to really see that with the nothing to lose mentality. So I'll pick them as a true Cinderella. I see the stream team all dropping their answers. Great stuff, guys. So let us know about the Western Conference. Same question. Lee, you go first. Who's your Western Conference Cinderella team?
Well, I would love to see Damian Lillard take the Blazers far, like almost like that Dirk run, because we kind of feel like the Blazers are going to, well, they're definitely going to make the playoffs, but we always sort of feel like they, have a ceiling of around that second round. But wouldn't it be great, especially with CJ coming back, if Nurkic comes back, those guys are healthy with fresh legs, that they can actually go on now and upset one of those teams, potentially like the Jazz or even the Nuggets, and then have a rematch with the Lakers in the conference finals, and then have Lillard really put to bed any sort of because he's been great.
You want like a Dirk run, like you said,
exactly,
an Iverson run even to the finals, right? Back in 01. That's what you want to see from
because
Lillard.
I want to see Lillard make the finals and just see him perform, because there's still some people who sort of think, Lillard, he's great in the regular season, but he hasn't had a lot of playoff success, even though he's ended 2 playoff series with those buzzer beaters. But he's only been to the conference finals once. He's run into the Warriors and the Lakers last season. So I would love to see him just sort of go all the way one season and win it. And I think he could do it, but you just need a little bit of luck. You need the ball to bounce your way a couple of times. So I think a lot of people would love to see Damian Lillard get to the finals and win a championship. I think he's got a lot of supporters out there.
Okay, so you're not really picking a 14th, 15th, 16th seed here. You're taking the Blazers. Let's call them a 9th seed right now if we were doing the March Madness tournament style, because I think they're 5th as of today. Okay, but I don't mind it. You got them going deep. Tass, where are you going with your West Cinderella?
Yeah, Blazers is a fantastic pick because if you want one shining moment, I think Damian Lillard could be that guy. That's the guy you want shooting the ball at the end of games. But I've got to go with a young squad, the San Antonio Spurs. I know people don't really want to talk about the Spurs, but every single spot on their roster now, pretty much the key spots now, are all youngins. And, that makes the Cinderella team a little bit more interesting, getting into that NCAA mode. Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray and Lonnie Walker and Jakob Poeltl. They're all young guys. Of course, people in the stream team are hating it. JG dropping a boring. I understand. But those are the Spurs of yesteryear. Current year, they are not.
Yeah,
They're
JG,
opposite.
you're a casual.
No doubt.
You're just projecting on these Spurs.
Once upon a time. Once upon a time. And DeMar's not even playing right now. He would get everybody involved. Yeah, they could wear the Fiesta jerseys. Good call, Ziggy. I mean, they would be beloved pretty quick. I think they would be they'd be loved. And people will go from hating them to loving them. They're a likable bunch.
I'll go with the Grizzlies for my Cinderella pick. I sort of already pumped them up around the All-Star break when we were talking about this, like a team to watch maybe in the second half. Though then they came out and lost a bunch of heartbreakers, and I was like, what have I done? But, they got a good victory the other night with Ja Morant's full court layup there. Very March Madness-like, as we talked about, Tyus Edney-like, going the full length of the court for the layup. So give me the Grizzlies, and they're right there. It's very possible that they'll make the play-in game at least. I saw Ziller in his basketball newsletter this morning. Good morning, it's basketball. Talking up how excited he was, Lee, for this play-in tournament, or at least implementing it here down the stretch. Look, we get to March. We've done this for many years. March Madness starts, and hell, when we were the starters, we get a couple days off because no one cares about the NBA. Was when March Madness usually tips off. Now it's different this year because playoffs don't start till May. But we hit the dog days of the NBA, and the hope is with this play-in tournament, and obviously the changing of the lottery odds and all that, that will be less the case because there's races for the 6th seed. So you're in because you don't want to be 7th. You got to still sort of make your way in there. You got to win a game to still lock that up. And then, of course, the races to even get into the play-in tournament. That's exciting. You got a lot more games that actually mean something. So hopefully this works out. I'm with Ziller on this. It should be a better, call it April. Again, it's all weird because of the timeline, but a better final month or two of the regular season.
Oh, I agree 100% too, because I think if you're an owner as well, you want your team to at least have that playoff sniff. Because again, it's easy to sell tickets. Look, we're a playoff team. You don't want to be now just sort of drifting into the middle of nowhere. Again, as you mentioned, the draft lottery odds have changed a little bit as well. So you're no longer really guaranteed either having even a top 3 pick if you have a terrible, terrible season. So you have to try to encourage your team and your players to keep fighting until the end. And I think the NBA has moved a little bit closer towards doing that. And we saw the playing game last season, down in the bubble, Blazers and Grizzlies was an incredible game too.
Yeah.
So that's great. They're not always going to be like that. There'll be blowouts. Of course, that's going to happen. But at least the NBA and Adam Silver, I think, trying to sort of take some things from the soccer world to implement in the NBA as far as the races in soccer towards the end of season are towards not necessarily winning the championship, but to get into the big money leagues like the Champions League and the Europa League. Mm-hmm. And then at the bottom, it's to starve off relegation. And that's what keeps that exciting. So the NBA is trying to make sure that teams at this point of the season, like we have seen for years and years, don't just mail it in and start, just start cheating their fans. They keep competing and keep trying. And it certainly feels like that right now, that there's a lot more teams in contention, and that's the way it should be, and that's certainly what the hope is from the NBA head office.
Absolutely. All right, so let's hear from you guys. You excited about the play-in tournament, and who are your Cinderellas in the West and the East? Let us know in the stream team. I know you guys were. Let us know in the YouTube comments or tweet them in at No Dunks Inc. All right, let's get to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
All right, worst of the week. A lot of nominees here because I asked you people on the tweeters, and you came through with flying colors. So let's fly through some tweets, JD. Romero N. My team, the Celtics, losing to the Cavs, no doubt, and having lost the second half of back-to-backs where Kemba sits out for, quote, knee management. I know it's frustrating as a Celtics fan to see Kemba sitting out. Maybe it's better in the long run. I don't know. It's just bad. It's just bad in Boston. Shannon M. writes, Myers Leonard, gotta just get one more dig in at Myers Leonard, even though we gave it to him last week, or the Pelicans' complete meltdown of that Portland game. Yeah, the first team in, I think, 237 occasions this season that gave up that big a lead in the last 6 minutes of the game. Got to squeeze that one in. Carlos tweeted, no dunks for not hosting a happy hour this week. That's all right. We'll be back, Carlos. We usually have these days off. We're not taking them off, Carlos. Yeah. We're here. Show up every day. Last one here. Sabrina Ionescu, WNBA player, pointing out the discrepancy in the weight room for the men's teams at the NCAA tournament versus the women's teams at the tournament. This is not a joke. Yeah. This is real. The men get a mammoth room. It looks like a ballroom with a ton of selections for weights, and the ladies get a massage table, yoga mats, and 6 pairs of dumbbells. It's really sad, and it ain't right. I mean, my gym is nicer than that, than what the ladies got. It's wrong. And I know it changes a little later in the tournament. When they get to the Sweet 16, they get a bigger gym, but it's crazy. And a lot of people speaking out on that, and that makes sense. I mean, that's just not putting any effort into the support there for the ladies. So that's sad. It's just super sad. And Sabrina Ionescu, obviously, being a former college player, knows what's going on there, that sometimes they do not get the same resources, or all the time they don't get the same resources as the men. So it's very, very unfortunate.
Well, who do you pick there, or where do you go with, Lee, of all those nominees? One that jumps out at you?
The NCAA. I mean, that's just pathetic. They didn't even think about it. And I saw another TikTok going around yesterday saying that their excuse was they didn't have enough room for the women's weight room. I mean, what sort of excuse is that? You're hosting a tournament and you're like, we don't have enough room for the athletes to be able to work out in. And it's just insulting. It's disrespectful. It just shows that no one even considered at any point, like, hang on a minute, we're going to do all this for the men, and just as if women don't work out, as if they're not high-level athletes as well performing. So just pathetic. But the NCAA, I mean, it's a joke anyway. Like, it's funny because I want to support this tournament because it's great seeing these games, but knowing that these kids are out there working for free while the executives are being paid millions of dollars is just, I just can't believe it is still allowed to happen. It's beyond a joke. Pay the players, support the athletes. It's ridiculous. So that's why I'm sort of like, I won't be tweeting about it. I may catch a game later on, but I sort of feel like I hate supporting it because then you also just sort of buy into a little bit of just ignoring the fact that these athletes are doing I mean, they're not even allowed a free meal. It's just so stupid that in 2021, we're now, 2021, we still have to fight this, and there are still people who are defending it, saying, that they shouldn't be getting paid. It's beyond a joke.
That's all right, Lee. Didn't the AFL start season just started?
It did.
Yeah,
It started Thursday night. Tigers and the Blues, and the Pies lost last night to the Doggies. Yeah. So, anyway,
rough start for your team, eh?
Yeah, I've got a few teams though, so I'll be okay.
Oh yeah, and my Bombers do.
I think they play tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Is there
I
a
think that's
team
why
named the Pies?
Yeah, the Magpies. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Black and white army. Yeah.
All right, great stuff, Tass. Thanks for taking us through the worst of the week nominees. It's actually time here for our final, I believe, masterclass. What I learned this week.
Skeets, I think we've done such a good job, and we've learned so much, and we've taught the people out there so much. I think it's coming back. I don't think this masterclass segment is dying now. It's going to be reborn.
Oh, wow.
We're just enjoying it so much. Maybe we'll have a group masterclass watch in the near future. Who knows?
Oh, wow. A happy hour masterclass. I hadn't even thought of that. All right. Well, what did you learn then this week?
Yeah. I like the idea of cocktails, but I've never really gotten into them. I don't have the heart. Nothing draws me in about it. I follow recipes, but then I'm just done with it. But
yeah,
I watched Lynette Moreros and Ryan Chetya-Wardana teach mixology, and it was a great class. It sucked me in because Ryan is he's the best of all worlds. He's both practical. He makes batch cocktails, which is nice. I hate just making one cocktail. If I'm hanging with people, I want to make big ones. So he does a good job of teaching you how to do that and keeping them around. And he actually preaches using stuff that you actually use. Like, don't go buy this one liqueur that you use one time for one tiny drink. You never use it again. And he's also one of the most successful bartenders in the world, behind some of the world's best bars. So he's got a rep. I'm sure he's had the best bar band play at his bars as well. What was Matt Austin's favorite bar band? He said, "This is the best bar band in the world." We're in New Orleans.
Yeah,
The Hold Steady.
No, that's not what he was talking about. We went to some bar once with Spencer Hall, I think it was, in New Orleans. He took us to a dive bar. Yeah. Yeah, yes, 100%. We were in it was a weird building, I remember. It was by a train track, if I remember correctly. It was a cool place. And there was this killer old band playing, all these old guys. Are we talking about the same thing? I think so.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, I think we are. It's not the Hold Steady. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's good name. It's a good name. The talking heads, the watchman heads, the watching heads. It was something to that effect.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up while you're taking us through this.
You're gonna text him. Yeah, hit him up.
No. I mean, he sent a photo. We have a photo somewhere.
It's a very good name. It's a prominent name. But anyways, best bars in the world. I'm sure Ryan's hired him because he's a very, very smart barman. He is some of the best bars in the world. Lynette also teaches this class. She's very likable. She's great. Keeps things simple. She likes swapping in one ingredient for your standard drinks. Like her old-fashioned variations called a fancy free. Instead of popping in sugar, you pop in a maraschino liqueur, which I have. I have that, and I never use it. So I want to use that. I want to try that out. They take their stories kind of sucked me in. It's not about the how, it's about the why. What's your why? And they got me in there. So Ryan teaches an easy vodka martini. I'll be trying very soon, but he goes a little crazy with some beeswax as well. A beeswax old fashioned, which sounds a little nuts, but also sounds good.
Excellent.
So they have a Negroni. Lynette does. Put your ingredients in the microwave, then hit it up with a grapefruit wedge at the end. A grapefruit wedge. I think that's my favorite part of the idea of that drink. Anyways,
sure.
Love me some grapefruit. But anyway, it got me. And I did make the which one did I make here? The fancy free with the maraschino liqueur, because I said, oh man, I haven't used that in years. So it's still okay.
Wow.
It's probably been 12 years since our friend Jay made me buy that for a particular liqueur, and now I was feeling good.
Nice.
Thanks to Lynette and Ryan.
Okay, good. It's funny because you just got your place task, hoping to see you somewhat soon. Nora and I were like, housewarming gift. What should we do for them? And I said out loud, I was like, maybe a cocktail book. Tess might like that. And then I was like, no, nobody likes those. Like you like it, but then you never look at it again. It's like you might look at it once and then it just gets put away and then you'll never see it again. So I quickly shot that down. Nora's like, we're definitely not doing that. But I'm happy to hear that because you don't need it. My point is you got this master class, you're learning all these drinks. That's like much more like involved way to actually make these things.
Yeah. It's I've got Imbibe, that book. Everybody's got one of those that they kind of have collecting dust on there.
That's what I mean. It's like they're fine. It makes sense, but you almost never look at the damn thing.
Nah.
Right?
We've got all sorts of recipe books in our house as well, and they just pile up because now if you want something, you just Google it and bang, you get a million recipes.
That's a problem too.
You get YouTube videos as well, and it's just like this is way more convenient than going to a book and thumbing your way through it. So.
It's a shame almost, though, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It truly is. Okay. All right. So, I thought that was our final masterclass, what I learned this week, but who knows?
That's what you learned. It might not be.
It may not be. Tassa told me it might be back. So get excited. Okay, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
What do you got, Lee?
Yeah. So this one was going around Twitter a bit yesterday. It's from Prince, who was putting up a concert somewhere. I'm not sure where it was. He was
Prince
doing
tweeting?
it. No, but this is during the concert. Here he is. Now look at this.
Yep.
Nice handle there.
Yep. No
Mid-concert and bang.
Oh, quick
now,
release.
It's a little hard to see, but he puts it in there. He puts it in, came in. That's great. I wonder where he was, and
because that looks dancer missed there. If I
now he looks pretty young there to me. So I'm saying that's late 80s, early 90s. But JD, we know that you have a bit of a controversial opinion of Prince to some degree. If you're at a Prince concert. Yeah, and he brings basketball into your world. Are you happy with that? Are you okay with that, or are you like, hey, man, I do enough basketball in my life. Just play these bangers, please.
No. I'm happy. He's putting on a show. I'm like you, Lee. Although hopefully I'm sitting closer than you would. But yeah, well, it's the showmanship.
Yeah.
What if you missed though? I mean.
He took that with a lot of confidence. I'm not missing. Like he doesn't miss. He feels good about it. Again, quick release, doesn't follow through all that much. I could hear Dennis Scott in my head saying, leave it, and he doesn't. He's got a concert to go do.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like, quick, boom.
Yeah.
But, look, if it goes in, it goes in. Game blazes for sure.
Yeah. Well, he used to play a fair bit of pickup basketball, apparently. So, that's why I had confidence. I mean, spinning the ball on his finger, like, I think, Skeets, you're the only one who could kind of do that out of all of us.
I could sort of do it.
Yeah.
I struggle. Well, I could. Did he keep it going in the clip? That's the tough part. I can get it spinning and staying up on my finger, no problem.
Yeah.
It's then the to
keeping it going.
To hit it to keep it going. I struggle with that part. I knock it all over the place, but
yeah,
no, he could ball despite being 5'4"
or 5'5" or something.
Oh, he's very, very small
and in heels.
Yes, that's right. That's a good point.
Did you ever see him, JD? You never saw him live?
I never saw him live. No. I would have loved to.
Yeah,
just to stand there and go. I mean, this is very good, but slightly overrated.
Oh my god. I would have liked to have seen Prince so I could tell people it was a slightly overrated show.
Yeah, the show was better than the music or the songs, but that's fine. That's what you go for. You want to be entertained. You want to have a great time. And I never saw him live either, but his reputation is that he put on a banger of a show. So
obviously,
yeah.
All right, good tweet of the night. I saw that going around, Lee. I saw that you had tweet of the night on it. Ooh, I was like, we might get a video here from Lee, and you came through in flying colors, specifically purple colors. Okay, pick 'em results from last night. It was these are brought to you by BetMGM. It was the Pelicans-Blazers game again. We ran it back. Blazers were favored by 1.5, and they got it done. They took care of business. Nice victory there for JD again. The undefeated week continues, filling in for Trey Kirby. Amazing stuff. And Lee picked up that dub as well. Loss for Tass and I. So this is interesting. At the top of the leaderboard, we have Tass and Trey /JD at 8-3. And then Lee and I at the bottom tied 5 and 6. So I don't know what week and a half to go here in March. I guess almost close to 2 weeks. But what do we got for tonight's game, Tess?
Well, the closest line tonight involves the team that's lost 18 games in a row, the Houston Rockets, and they're favored. What? They're favored by 2.5 points against the Detroit Pistons. The Rockets are at home, so that's why they're favored. JD, you are the master. Do you take Houston at home to snap their 18-game losing streak, or do you take the Pistons on the road?
I think that the Rockets are going to continue to lose, so I am taking the Pistons. I'm just happy I got a winning record this week for Trey because Trey he gets angry sometimes. And I've said it before. I don't want him angry with me, so at this point I can't lose. But I think that the Rockets can lose, so I'm taking the Pistons.
Wow.
All right. Skeets, what do you got?
Man, I was going to take the Rockets to snap the losing streak, but I don't feel good about betting against JD right now. But I will anyway. Oh, my God. Like, is it that JD's going to go, if he gets this right, he's going to go perfect for the week? That'd be very impressive. That's not easy to do. We've been doing this for a long time. So I will go the Rockets. I'm betting against JD, and I'm betting against the Pistons, obviously. 2.5 for the Rockets. Okay. They snapped the streak tonight, Tass. That's where I go. What do you got, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, Christian Wood is back. Is that enough?
He was back already, wasn't he?
Yeah. I don't think it's enough. I think the Pistons, especially as Rockets are favored here. So I will take the Pistons.
Good one. Yeah. Well, I think Christian Wood will have a good game against his old team.
All right.
And the Rockets, they got to snap it at some point. I think the Pistons play up to their competition. We see them play good games against good teams, but they'll play down to the Rockets. Give me Houston to snap that 18-gamer. Wow.
All right. Tass and I taking Houston to win by 3 or more points. JD/Trey and Lily have Detroit. What a game we're picking from. Must watch now. That one. Forget March Madness. You got to be watching Pistons Rockets if you're a true NBA fan.
More like March Sadness.
Oh! All right. Let's end this drop in style. Little rapid fire fun. First one, guys. A Brooklyn-based film director is simultaneously mocking and attempting to profit off the cryptocurrency craze for NFTs by selling a year's worth of fart audio clips recorded in quarantine. This is a real story, real headline here. Individual fart recordings are available for about $85 a pop. He has sold, at least when I wrote this, one. I did not buy it, but we think Lee may have bought it. But if you could produce one NFT moment from the Basketball Jones or the starters or No Dunks history or the free agents, what would you choose to mint and why? Lily, get us started.
Well, I'm going to stick with the fart theme and go with Trey's absolute belter 13-second long one in the starter's office. I mean, a few of us were there that day, and man, what a moment that was. It changed tone, it changed color, it changed texture. It had such personality. It had character.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, as well, that moment in Pulp Fiction, you know, when they bring Marcellus Wallace's wife, Mia Wallace, back to life, and everyone's just like, you know, like, whoa, what a moment, what a trip that was. Like, everyone just stopped and really understood that was something special. That's the best part I've ever seen, heard, been a part of. You know, Trey just like held it. He caressed it out of his ass. I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, I honestly thought JD was trying out some new music bed or something, you know, because it was like, you know, I remember it was so long.
It was amazing.
It was so long. I was just like, what is
we
that?
had enough time to all look at each other individually as it continued.
Oh my God. I just wish so many more people could have really appreciated that moment. And I mean, he deserved a standing ovation at the end of it. He really, or a salute. Like, we should have just said, Trey, just incredible stuff. Really, really good stuff. I mean, that would be selling. I'm telling you, you're getting $1 million for that. People would want that fart for sure. Imagine that, at, you know, at a party. Look at this. You know, like,
put it on the Spotify shuffle playlist.
Yeah, that would have its own channel on our YouTube page for sure. Trey's fart. Just Spectacular stuff.
Yeah, it
I
is
know.
a shame that we were in a room with a bunch of like audio recording equipment and we couldn't
Yeah.
get that on tape. That's
Yeah.
true. Sorry,
Ah.
Tass, I cut you off there. What were you
Yeah,
gonna say?
well, I know we should have definitely saluted him, but it was kind of like Vince Carter's elbow dunk. Like you just didn't know
Yeah, I was like,
what
whoa.
just happened. You just witnessed history, but it was one of a kind. It really was.
All right. Okay, good one. Good pick. Yeah, if this guy's selling individual fart recordings for $85, you're right, Trey. No, maybe not a million, Lily, but we're
come
talking.
on.
It's a cosmic fart. There's no doubt. It's legendary. It's going for a couple thousand to start with. What about you, Tass? What's an NFT you'd like to mint from our history?
Well, yeah, I get why this guy's selling farts. I mean, NFT, the acronym, it sounds like a fart. If you say it really quickly.
Right.
For me, I would mint the Tony Parker interview in a Subway 2009.
Oh.
It was our first interview, so
Yep.
it's probably going to have a low serial number.
Yep.
Super low. We can probably put the Subway logo on the thumbnail. Maybe get sued by Subway. I think that would just raise the price for it. And get Tony's likeness. He's a beautiful man. Get him on there. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. I think that could get sponsored even by Subway. I think they'd turn around and say, you know what? I want to get a piece of that. Of course you do. Everybody wants a piece of that. So get in on that.
I actually just watched that clip because I was on another podcast, Below the Hardwood, and they played a small clip of that. Oh, man. It is brutal. How nervous we are, especially myself. My mic skills are absolutely hilarious. Like I am talking at the wrong time. When it's in front of him, I'm talking. When the mic's in front of me, he's talking. But that is a good one. That's an old one. You're right. With an NBA player, value through the roof. JD, finish this one off. What are you? What are you minting?
There's so much on the board still. There's the Shaq wedgie. There's the Lynn shake. There's
Good one.
The time we hired a mariachi band. I considered that one. That was a weird and rare one. But I'm going with one of my favorite things we ever did on the show, and it was for an April Fool's show, and it was the time Skeets we chopped off your arm.
Yeah.
We got Lee in a fat suit. We got Cyber.
Oh my God, this is good.
Cyber Tass and bald Skeets, and he gets his arm chopped off with a machete. And this was super fun to do. It was one of my favorite shows. We did the whole show 20 years in the future. This was so 2036, I guess, is when it's supposed to. Is that what it is? 2030?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was 2016. And low key, my favorite part of that is when Tass chops the arm, and the splatter that we rigged up was super late. It's like chop and then
I don't have a lot of blood in me, JD.
Yeah.
And we kind of almost got in trouble for that one too, because the executive producer Johnny O was at home with his daughters, and it was on TV happening, and we got a call. We weren't in trouble, but he was like, guys, I was sitting with my daughter, and I just love the idea, the idea of somebody just flipping on NBA TV, and four guys in silver suits, and gruesome arm getting chopped off. That was just
That's a good one because lost in all of that is like Trey in the giant beard in the monitor in the Matrix, and then Lee in the fat suit, who's let himself go in 20 years from now. He stopped doing bar 3. Man!
And there's tons of great lines there. Lee asks if he can have your watch. Gates goes, "It stings." Go look it up. It's April 1st, 2016.
Man. Okay. We gotta bring that. That's a certified classic. For sure. We gotta get that up on the YouTube channel at some point.
So that was projecting 20 years in the future. It was almost probably 20 years earlier when we were in college. It wasn't 20, but almost 20 years earlier, where you made a similar short, JD, where there was a lot of spurting happening.
There's a spurting blood. Yeah, that was spurted on Skeets' face. Actually,
it was in like a restaurant scene.
Yeah.
And you love your spurting.
Your partner gets beaten with a pepper grinder.
That's it. Yeah. Shout out to Tim Burton. Not that Tim Burton. The other Tim Burton.
The other
awesome.
Tim Burton.
Awesome.
Spurt and
awesome.
Tim Burton.
Great answers. We got to mint all those. Okay, next one. Paul George keeps whining about he and his Clippers being officiated poorly, and he doesn't like the whistle they're getting. No one cares except Paul Scheer. But let's pretend it's Festivus and air some grievances. What's one thing that really grinds your gears in 2021, Lee?
I'm glad you asked this one because, yeah. So whenever I go to like Home Depot or Target or any parking lot, I'm that guy who's like, I want to park, a long way away from where I'm going and walk in. As long as I've got clear space around me, I want like 10 empty parking spaces around me. I don't know why. I think it's probably because I have the kids, so you're in and out of the car a little bit.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, it's happened like 3 or 4 times where I've done that, and I come out. And there's a motherfucker parked right next to me.
Okay.
I'm like, are
Not
you
sure we needed an
serious?
MF on that one, but
Are
okay.
you seriously right now going to park there with all that empty space? You have to park next to me. I was in Home Depot just last week, and I'm like, I'm parked. I'm so safe from there's no way anyone could park near me. I come out right next to me. I was just, why on earth are you have to park next to me?
There's power in numbers, Lee. Maybe,
But,
your car's not gonna be
it's like
broken.
when you go to the movies, you don't need to sit right next to you, whoever you're going with. Like,
The
have
subway.
a buffer.
Yeah.
Have a buffer. And I cannot believe it. Like the first time it happened, just sort of think, okay, it happened. Then it happens like 2 times in a row, and you're like, okay, I'm not enjoying this. This is a Target. That was Home Depot, wherever you are. Then it happened again, and I'm just like, oh, right, that's it. I want to slash this guy's tires. I don't care, man. I can't believe.
Put a sign up on your car. Don't park near me.
It drives me so crazy. It's unbelievable. So I'm just going to get further and further and further away just to make it ridiculous for someone else to do it.
Just leave your car in your own driveway and walk.
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
Target.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I asked this question. Didn't see an MFer being dropped there this early in the morning, but yeah, he
How
did.
dare somebody park in a parking spot?
I know the nerve. The nerve.
I wonder if people use your car as sort of a guide to.
100%, Tass. 100%.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't do it, Lee. I would want space beside me too. Why the heck not?
Well, that's the other thing. Even if my car is a sort of, an idea for you, so you come out, where yours is as a locator, you don't have to park right next to me.
I think Tass is right.
No,
a lot of people using it as like a little guideline there for their pull into the space.
Like
People
when they're
aren't
pulling
comfortable.
into
Yep.
space. Yeah.
I think so. That's my
But
guess.
anyway, it's weird.
What do you got, Tass?
Something that annoys me in 2021.
Yeah.
This is key here. In 2020, this wouldn't have annoyed me, but in 2021, the fact that people can't use a mute button when they're on a conference call or mute themselves on a Zoom call, the fact that you got to hear all the feedback, all the crap going on in their world when you're trying to have a conference call in 2021. I mean, I'm a slow learner. Maybe in 2020, when this all started, I could have left my phone unmuted for a little bit and then realized it and muted it. But 2021, how many conference calls have you been on? How many Zoom calls have you been on?
Right.
Thousands, millions, but you haven't hosted one, and that's your problem. If you were on the other end and you had to deal with all this crap that people are doing in the background, bang, 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 wow, 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 like all that noise, it's impossible. It's impossible to get through, and it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot for a host. I get it. What are you going to do? Just keep saying, "Can you mute your phone?" I've been on those calls too.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to have to say it, but man,
You shouldn't have to say it. You shouldn't
be a
have to
parent.
At this point.
Yeah.
No, it's 2021. There's some Zoom calls where you jump on and it automatically mutes you. Amazing. I guess that just doesn't work with phone calls. It's just we don't have that tech, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just should be automatic. It should be automatic in like conference setting. If you have to dial in and then dial your ID, it should just automatically mute you until the host unmutes.
Oh man, this time last year when schools started going virtual, unprepared, and there was a lot of 8-year-olds, like 38-year-olds, all on the same class trying to talk to each other. Man, that was just mayhem. I don't know how the teachers did it, because we would log on in the morning and there's just like 25 kids all trying to talk to each other at once. It was just crazy, but they figured it out. The teacher's done a great job, and they've got kids at least now understanding how to mute themselves and unmute when they need to talk. So they've done a great job, but Those first couple of days, man. Oh man, it was rough.
JD, what's your answer to this one?
My answer is also audio related in 2021. I am over the sound on this show. Like, it's been a year now, and everybody's in their homes, and Tass has got a new home, and he's broadcasting from his dungeon, and we just changed the way we do things, and now I got a Skeets problem over there, and it's not Skeets' fault, it's not Tass's fault, it's just, we're it's just I'm over it. That's all. Just over it, you know.
Yeah. Because you get caught up on perfect.
I like it to be
close
good
as possible.
Yeah. And often we get compliments, really nice compliments about how, it sounds like you're all in the same room. And I'm like, yeah, the same massive room that's terrible for recording audio. And yeah, thanks. But, I appreciate the compliments, but they're not deserved because the show sounds awful to me.
Oh, geez, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, we got to get into a studio, and hopefully that's going to happen in 2021.
Hopefully. All right. Final one here. We got to wrap this up. I got to go host a Twitch stream for 3 hours over at NBA Top Shot. My God. Apparently the queue's already open. Final one, the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Tipped yesterday. I already told you that. So get ready to hear Cinderella about 1 million times over the next couple of weeks. I figured I could ask you guys for your March Madness predictions, or which team in the March Madness tournament that you think could be a Cinderella, but screw that. I'm more creative than that. I can do better. So let's end this rapid fire in style. Gentlemen, which Disney princess do you most identify with? Lily.
Yeah, man, I haven't got a good answer, unfortunately, for this one. I tried. I'm like, who do I connect with here? And I'm just going with Jasmine from Aladdin. I picked her in our draft earlier or late last year, whenever we did that. And I'm like, what's the reason, though? I just like Jasmine. I don't know. That's all I could come up with. Okay. So, unfortunately, don't really have much more than that.
I can't believe you didn't go with Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, on International Sleep Day or whatever.
See, I mean, there you go. That's how easy it was. I could have gone with that, but yeah, I didn't.
No. Okay. Tass, do you have maybe a better answer, or who's your pick?
Aurora. No, I'm going to go with Moana because she's got a wide foot, and I definitely sympathize with her. She's got wide, flat feet. Maybe it's because she doesn't wear shoes ever, and I definitely get it from my parents. My mom specifically were the same. She had village feet. I've got village feet, and me and Moana, we make do. We make do in the sand, putting our toes in the sand, and Moana's still fleet of foot. I'm not, but she's making So every time I see those chunkers, Moana's got some wide ones. I sympathize more.
Right. I've never noticed that.
I haven't either, but I'm gonna look for sure next time. JD, finish this off. What Disney princess do you most identify with?
Disney princess I most identify with is Ariel. I love the water.
Yep.
I'm a pretty quiet person, usually super quiet, and she doesn't talk hardly that whole movie. And I'm also a little bit of a fish out of water, being on producing a basketball show these last years. And I also leap into deals without considering consequences of anything. I'll just go, yeah, let's do it. I just bought a house. I'm just like, yeah, sure. Like, does it even have any closets? It does. I know it doesn't have a dishwasher. So, we'll deal with it.
Wow.
Whatever.
Now that's how you answer a question, Lily. Take some notes. That's a master class on how you answer a really random rapid fire question. Put some thought into it.
I did put thought into it.
Did you?
I did. I was just like, I'm not saying Cinderella, I'm not saying, I don't know. I was just like, Jasmine, that's who I picked. Hopefully I could just put that one away and someone will have a better answer. And Tass and JD did. So
yeah, it was good. We put you first in this.
Exactly.
Right. That would have been a brutal last time.
First.
JD,
I would have eviscerated you if you picked Cinderella. Cinderella's a hard worker, man.
Okay, that's it for rapid fire. That's it for another drop podcast, guys. No Dunks items, immaculate ones, available over at nodunks.com. Hoodies and t-shirts and shorts and mugs. Please go rep the brand, nodunks.com. Treat yourself to an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks, where you can sign up for just a few dollars a month for the best damn sports writing in the world. Go to theathletic.com/NoDunk so they know that we sent you. Please, Stream Teamers, like the video, comment, help us defeat the algorithm, and share the show with all your friends. Subscribe, of course, as well. We'd really appreciate it. That's it for us this week. I guess we got a very solid play coming up later today. Lee, that's gonna have to come after this Twitch live stream that I got to go do right now. But don't worry, we'll get to it. We'll get those VSPs up. Everybody have a great weekend. If you're a March Madness fan, enjoy that action. But we'll be back on Monday to talk about the NBA. Oh, I should say, Trey has done his pick'em payoff. We're going to save it till Monday when he's back to share it with everyone, because I'm sure he'll have some comments about it. So that's on Monday. Have a safe weekend. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And as Buddha's Palm is saying here in the stream team, JD is the No Dunk Cinderella. You're the hard worker. So and I'm going to work hard on my audio this week, JD. It's going to be better than it is right now. Maybe. We'll see.
Embrace the weekend, people.